before we dive into all the content of this week's show, we just want to give a big thanks to our sponsors for the show, the Bowls Academy. The Bowls Academy provide game-changing content to all levels of bowlers, helping them to take their game to the next level. Visit thebowlsacademy.com to find out more. Welcome, everyone. Episode 38, or if you're in Australia listening, 38, mate, of the What a Load of Bowls podcast, brought to you by the Bowls Academy. DJ Delbert here with the usual suspect, Simon Little. Simon, how are we going?
I'm really good. How are you going, mate?
Oh, living the dream, mate. Living the dream.
How was your Australia day? What did you get up to?
Oh, not much. It was a public holiday, mate. We didn't do much. It was hot up here, so it was a bit of cleaning the pool and stuff we got there, so as we all get in it. Boring. But yeah, man, hot day. Hot day. Now, you said we wouldn't get political on this show, and here you are bringing up Australia Day, mate. We'll not get into that too much, really.
Doesn't get too political, does it, TJ? It's just like cooking some meat in the barbecue and having a beer and chilling out in the pool. Isn't that what it's all about?
Well, that's what I think it's all about anyway. So anyway, but moving on, mate. Speaking of the TBA, let's get straight into it. The Bowls Academy, bringing you hints, tips, coaching skills for all those players out there. It is early in the season. Everyone's starting to get ready for pennants, mate. Having the pennant trials coming up. Queensland Premier League kicking off very soon. We'll talk about that a bit later. New South Wales pennants sort of kicking off anytime from February through to about May. Mate, give us some tips there for some of those players that want to get ready for pennants, maybe go to the next level, some ideas on how they need to improve. What's the best pennant preparation you think?
Well, certainly seeing a lot more people on the greens at the moment. As you say, people are keen to get out there. And with pennants coming up around the New South Wales region, it's definitely something people are on the forefront of their minds. And I think, DJ, we got to look at drills that are 2 bowls, because that's what you're going to be doing during pennants. There's no point coming out there with 4 bowls. You don't get 4 goes. You're going to get 2. So got to keep your drills to 2-bowl drill each end. Maybe have a look at what position you play, whether that's front end, leading second. You're sort of looking drills that are on the center line with a few drills that are off center line, draw shots. If you're a back-end player, you're going to be looking at more those up shots, drives, but also don't forget about the draw shots. You got to have that range of shots playing back-end. I think keeping it pretty simple, let's get some targets, whether that be on the center line or the offset for those 2 bowls each end.
I'm going to stop you there. Do you have any targets that you recommend?
Oh, I've got a few, yeah. I think you just jump on our website.
To the bowlsacademy.com website, and you've got some targets there that people can get their hands on.
Plenty in stock, yeah.
Shameless plug. Continue, mate.
Shameless plug. Where were we? So we go, keep it pretty simple. Just change that length up. Maybe have a few ends at one length, but change that up every few ends, because that's what happens during pennants.
That's it.
So the other team score, they change the length up. You got to have that versatility of being able to go from a short head to a medium head to a long head, and vice versa, being able to go from tee to tee to minimum length. By doing that in your drills, that'll definitely give you good preparation for whenever those times change. You've won 3, 4, 5, 6 ends in a row, and then all of a sudden, the opposition score, and they bring them out up, or they go tee to tee. And how often do you see at your club guys rolling up tee to tee?
Oh yeah,
never.
No,
I know at Tarn Point, I don't see people putting them out in the tee and the jack on the tee. So yeah, that's something I think everyone should be looking at, especially those minimum, maximum lengths. Get those as part of your drills.
Very good, very good. There you go. Some nice insight there from head coach Simon Little of the Bowls Academy. How to get ready for the pennant season. Right on, mate. So fortnightly podcast from the minute. Plenty to talk about this week. Get into some news sections. Starting off there, you've got a bit of information there that Bowls New South Wales put out recently. Some grants available to bowls clubs to help them obviously improve certain facilities and things like that there, mate. What have you got? Yeah, definitely.
I've seen that post Bowls New South Wales put out on the 20th of January. Grant opportunity for clubs. The Community Building Project, Partnership 2025 program opens up on the 28th of January. So you can secure anywhere between 10,000 and 100,000 for projects that enhance your club and benefit your community. So there's a few tick boxes you need for to be eligible. Your project could be lighting upgrades, accessibility improvements, renovations and new capital works, or green surface upgrades and more. There's definitely maybe a few clubs could do with green surface upgrades around the town.
Absolutely, I mean, especially with the economic climate at the minute, things are a bit under the pump. If there's clubs out there need facilities, it's good that Bulls New South Wales have sent that out there. But there is other grants available. Don't just be locked into those type of things. I know we've looked at a couple of bigger ones as well with our facility that we're looking at doing. Get in touch with your RBM from Bulls Australia as well. Like Jason Pinnock's very good. He's always sending information out to all our clubs. We all fall under Jason's banner. Brett Hughes would be the other one, wouldn't he?
He is, yeah.
Direction.
He's
That's two guys just from New South Wales to talk about. But if you're in any of the other states in Australia, look around, find out who your RBM is, get in touch with them, see what grants there may well be, because we could always do with a facelift here or there and little improvements. The big thing by there is making it better for the community too. Be that community hub. That's what these grants are all looking for. How you not just going to improve your 50 to 150, 200 bowlers. It's what are you going to do for your community area, and especially some of those clubs out west and things that could do with that type of thing.
Free money up for grabs there, and if you're not directly involved with that kind of decision process at your club, get into the ear of whoever is. If you're just a regular member at the club, just get on to your secretary, your Bulls coordinator, your general manager, whoever it may be at your club. Just get in their ear and say, "Oh, I've seen this. It was something that our club might utilise."
That's it, absolutely. And if you're not familiar with filling in grants, again, those RBMs are trained up in that. It's not just about putting it in front of you and say, "Here, I think this is a good idea for you." It's what help do you need to fill in for this? Like, I know of grants in the past from some of the RBMs have helped, and clubs have managed to get new courtesy buses out of it as well, which obviously benefits the community and stuff. So there's plenty of options out there. So by all means, some of the smaller clubs out there, even some of the bigger clubs that have big plans ahead, jump onto it. If you get it right, some good money there from the government.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also this week then, mate, obviously you mentioned earlier on Australia Day, and with that comes the Australia Day honours list.
Yep.
A couple of bowlers managed to get on that there, mate, from Bulls Australia. What have you got for us? Who was honoured for Australia Day this year?
Definitely good to see a few bowlers, get representation on those honours on Australia Day, and obviously a great credit to them and their family and their club that they get recognised at a national level on such a big day.
Any podcasters on there?
No, we didn't make it. Maybe next year.
Yeah, we'll keep pushing.
A list of a couple of bowlers here that received the OAM, first of all, was Mrs. Judith Whiting from Hope Valley in South Australia.
Very good, Judith.
I pronounced that okay. For service to lawn bowls, it says here, with on the post that was on Bowls Australia. We also had Mr. Neil Heatley from Victoria for service to the community of Northern Melbourne, Kingsbury Bowls Club.
Very good.
And it gives a list of all his sort of things that he's done over the years. And also the late Mrs. Rosalind Jones, Northern Territory, for service to the community of, DJ, I'm going to have to help with this, Kumali Shire. Never heard of it.
It's nice you having to have a go at these things as well.
Yeah, but, I know how you feel.
I'm sure you're having it. I'm sure you're getting it pretty close right now. But well done to those three. Obviously, it's a little bit of a shame. The last one there, getting it promiscuously or whatever you call it. Unfortunately, after their passing, you always wish those type of things they actually get the experience out and actually feel the pride that they would have from getting that OAM. Putting you on the spot, mate. What's that stand for? Order of Australian Merit. Come on, Simon.
Medal of Order of Australia.
Oh, yeah. You just had to read that there.
I had to quickly Google it.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Alrighty. But yeah, it's one of those things I'd always like to see that sort of thing given out before the passing of the people rather than being honoured after they have passed away. It happened with our one of our ex-presidents here up in Mailto City. Unfortunately, he passed before he got given it. He was informed of it before his passing because he was sick in hospital. He was informed that he was going to get it, but he didn't quite make it there. But yeah, you like to see them actually get the feel, like I said, get the feel of that pride and stuff like that there. So a bit of a shame there, but absolutely great honour, and obviously a lot of three people there that have contributed heavily to our sport. So it's great out there
as well. Yep,
it's a great sort of great card to dangle in front of people. I mean, not too many people get to put OAM at the back of their name, so
no.
Nice, something to aim for, mate. We'll have to improve our podcast and try and get on there in a couple of years' time if we can. Seen the other one from Bulls Australia recently too, mate. Some new partnerships for apparel. Anyone looking for apparel, there's some new options out there. It's good to see Bulls Australia expanding. They must have been listening to a podcast about the middle of last year. Where
I think we mentioned that, didn't we?
But 3 new names thrown out there. A bit of a bias for myself for Drake's Pride, considering I have a close relationship with Anthony Ayoub. So by all means, jump on there, have a look at your partnerships. I just think it's a good thing. I mean, I think the more we saturate the market, the better for clubs, because the more competition out there, potentially better prices out there for clubs as well. So, make it a competitive market rather than just having a closed shop for, 4, 5, 6 people. Might as well open up as best we can. So that's good to see.
And that DJ just explained that partnership with Bowls Australia that allows those companies to have the BA logo on their apparel, and which can be worn on the greens and certain tournaments and things like that. So Bowls Australia receive a fee for that, licensing agreement that that those companies can have that logo, and that's obviously one of forms of Bowls Australia's income that they have is through that agreement.
Absolutely. Moving on to around the greens then, mate, and a couple of things have happened in the last couple of weeks, but a couple of things also come up to look forward to. One of those being the Trans-Tasman, the Jackaroos against the Blackjacks. That's kicking off very soon. I think the 31st of January is the date for that, mate. So maybe just after this one's released, depending on how you go with your editing process. But, obviously, well done to all those selected to represent their country, both in I think there's an open squad and there's
an A squad as well, I believe.
A squad, B squad, development squad, able-bodied, non-able-bodied. Congratulations to all those picked to represent their country. It's a great honour. So we'll have that to look forward to in a podcast or two time.
I do think going to be live streamed on, if you have a look on YouTube, Bulls New Zealand channel.
Nice.
They're going to be live streaming. They've got all day live streaming. Yeah, I did see the schedule for it, and I think that'll be on YouTube.
Any experience with Bulls New Zealand streaming, Simon?
No, I'll be tuning in.
Do they use GoPros or do they use the...
I'll be tuning in to see what it's like.
See what it's like. Our expert, our local expert on streaming. Alrighty, moving on then, mate. Potters. World Bowls Tour, the World Bowls Indoor Championships have been happened. Spin bricks. They have just finished, and some history was made. So it was, with Mr. Jason Banks from Scotland taking out all 3 events he was eligible to at this event. He got the men's singles, it was the open singles, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
The men's pairs, the mixed pairs, but not only that, during that season, he's the first player to win all WB Tour events because he won the Scottish Open as well. So well done to Jason Banks. Pretty impressive achievement considering those have come before him and they're still there playing around him to get in there in the Potters for play red hot form, obviously for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it was, and take out 3 titles. Pretty fair effort, mate.
Did you see any of it? Did you? Did you watch any of it?
No, it's a time difference, man. I couldn't watch any of it. Did you watch any of it?
Yeah, I tuned in to a few.
Good, you're saving the show now, Simon. Thank you.
But I was disappointed. I wasn't really that enthused to keep watching, or I wasn't enthused to continue on watching.
Oh, why is that, Simon?
It's very lackluster in atmosphere and commentary, I thought.
Ooh.
Maybe
Simon, ladies and gentlemen, getting a bit controversial here.
Maybe I just got the wrong games, but I'm a bowler, and that's like some of the top bowlers playing, and I had no enthusiasm for watching that. So I really find it hard.
See different then?
I really find it hard that attracts more people to our sport by having the way that Potters is run. It's very long. So as you say, it's over 2 weeks. I thought it's very long. There's not many people in the crowds until you get to the semi-finals, finals, the latter stages. But the early games that I was watching, and I just flicked on a couple of games, and I maybe watched a couple of ends, and then I was just like, don't really want to. Even though there's some really good bowls played and some really good shots played, but the whole atmosphere it was very dull and quiet, and I just didn't like it, DJ.
You want a football atmosphere, do you?
I don't know.
It's not BPL, is it? It's not BPL.
Well, that's the thing. I think they've set the bar. Like, BPL has definitely set the bar in terms of broadcast and what you get from a bowls tournament. And I think Potters is way, way, way below that line.
Wow. I'm blown away here, man. You've just gone all in here on the World Bowls Tour.
I didn't want to tell you before we started recording just to see what you'd say.
Man, I don't get speechless often, and I'm not this time, but you got me close. So you did. So that's... Dear me, I didn't see that coming. So who's the commentators you had the issue with? I know. Look, man, I can't be there all the time. I know you'd like to sit and listen to me, but it's not feasible to get over there to Potters for the 2 or 3 weeks, like you said, and for me to sit and commentate all the time. All right, I got to share it around a bit.
Yeah, look, I think it's just we're just spoiled over here in terms of the BPL, and they've definitely pushed the boundaries in terms of what we see on a live stream or on a broadcast. And it's not just like the short format of game; it's everything else that comes around it in terms of attracting people there. Yeah. Having interviews done on the green, players doing the interview with players, not just totally randoms that are from production companies that you can just tell maybe don't really know that much about bowls and just been chucked in there for a couple of weeks and learned a little bit. You've actually got players that we know and I've seen over the years are interviewing other players, and it's more authentic, I think, and you get more authentic questioning and things like that. I think the stuff around the peripheral makes up to a whole pie, and I think maybe we're just spoilt with the BPL.
Yeah, the BPL is very good. And speaking of that, I'll be down there in a couple of weeks again. Looking forward to that, going down to Moama. I was just flicking through the World Bowls Tour page again, mate. Did you see they actually held a Masters singles for the first time?
I did see that. Ian Bond was a winner.
Ian Bond, yeah, not bad.
Back in the day.
Yeah, fella can't play. I remember watching the old Bondy bumps I do, so yeah, that was good. And I was it's taking me back here. I didn't see you going all in on the World Bowls Tour. But not good on you, man. It's good to sit this side of it instead of being the controversial one for a change. It's good to see you doing it. But so anyone from Potters listening out, get in touch with Simon Little. He'll tell you what to do. But
get in touch.
I see what you say. I mean, look, I'm with you about it. Like it's always been at Potters, and Potters do great for the sport. Like without Potters, that event's not running. Okay, it's been there for as long as I can remember and stuff. All right, so they do great having it there. But it can be. It's hard when they zoom in on the crowd, and it is people of a certain generation that is different from the BPL.
Let's take it maybe a slightly different tangent, but I think it's totally relevant. You sent me a link to something else to watch not that long ago. What was it?
Oh, put me on the spot here. What was it?
Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy.
Oh, the TGL. Yeah.
Yeah. So, why can't we take a leaf out of other sports? Like, golf has sort of thought outside of the box, or Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, in terms of putting simulated golf into this big indoor arena. I don't know. Does bowls need to really think outside the box and go, can we take that indoor event and let's put it somewhere totally random? Why does it have to go to Potters every year? Could we not put it in a casino in Las Vegas? Could we put it? About? Yeah, could we put it somewhere? I don't know if you can think of somewhere totally random indoor, DJ, into some sort of arena.
How much did you used to watch the World Bowls Tour events, mate, when we were back at home? Because like it's dropped off a bit, and there's not a lot of publicity of it around in Australia, which I find funny. Like, you can actually be a member of the PBA, qualify through the Australian qualifiers, and go to Potters. Alrighty. Now, I don't know of anywhere in New South Wales that's doing that at the minute. You see, like Blake Nairn from Western Australia getting through. He's been through the last couple of years. Yeah. So anyone that's interested, you can search that out. You can find out where your local one is. I think Queensland do a bit as well, and you can actually qualify to go and play in this event.
Yeah, you can.
But that rink is now a portable rink. It has been for a while, because back when they used to have the Welsh Open, the Scottish Open, there was an International Open, there was the World. They used to have four events at least. They actually played in leisure centres in Scotland for the Scottish Open.
Okay.
So they did. So they actually had it. You know, remember the old leisure centres back at home? You had 4 or 5 badminton courts or whatever. They actually did. That portable rink is there for that reason, to try and take it around. For whatever reason, it hasn't kicked on. It actually looks like it's dropped off a bit. There's definitely not, without being rude, there's definitely not the prestige in that event as there is with the World Bowls Championships or Commonwealth Games.
No.
Because realistically, it is a closed shop.
It's mostly from the UK, isn't it, DJ?
Well, there's nobody outside of the UK in the World Top 16. Kirko broke in for a while. I know Schubach did well back in the early days. But then the thing is, with those qualifying events, if you're in the World 16, you're automatically into the second round, and you're gaining ranking points without even playing. So it takes the qualifiers to do really, really well to knock off. Now, there was a couple of shocks this year. I know Sam Tolchard went on a bit of a run too, from what I've seen. As I said earlier, I didn't watch a big lot of it. I watched some of Jason Banks' highlights, and he was on form. He was firing. So he was. But I watched some of the results and stuff to see what was going on. But you'd like to see that kick on a bit, especially with the likes of, again, I keep referring back to it, but the BPL, but even the UBC.
Yeah.
It does just bring a bit more entertainment to the game. So what if the World Bowls Tour got up their sleeve to do that? I don't know, mate, but yeah.
I think what you just said there is like you didn't watch it. So you're a bowler. There's a bowls podcast, but you had no real interest in watching it, and I think that comes from the tournament itself, that it's not entertaining enough. It's not
there's not too many fist bumping and carrying on, is there really?
Yeah. So I think that speaks volumes, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a bit of a different tangent here. Congratulations to Julie Forrest, who walked away with the women's singles. Before we forget, while you've had your rant, so well done to everyone involved and those current world champions. Doesn't matter how much Simon belittles you. You're well done. You're a world champion. But yeah, there you go. So World Bowls Tour results, and as I said, if you are interested from Australia, anyone that wants to have a crack, just look up the PBA. It'll give you a link to someone somewhere in Australia that runs the event, and yeah, you managed to qualify through. I believe it's all expenses paid getting over there to Potters. So, but yeah, look, the format, mate, having to play a game and then wait 3 or 4 days is what can you do when you're only playing on a single rink? Like mate, it could be what we see when it comes to Commonwealth Games. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch because, like we said, Trans-Tasman's coming up. When they announced the Trans-Tasman, they said the singles and pairs was going to be played in the same format as Commonwealth Games. So that's what I'm really interested in seeing. But yeah, by all means, PBA, Potters, World Bowls Tour, get on it. Let's promote it a bit better and stop people whinging like Simon about it. Well done, mate. Well done. All right, a couple of other things that have happened then. Western Australia state titles, mate. Did you see that?
I didn't know who's top of the tree over there.
A little bit of history made. I think Christina Christic managed to take out her 6th title.
Oh.
So it is. So well done to Christina. Six titles, and she took out Laura Butler in the final, our women's open singles winner at the Australian Open last year. So congratulations there. And the men's singles winner was Ben Leggett from Mount Lawley Club. So well done to those two taking out the main singles events over there in Western Australian state titles. So well done to those ones over in the West, getting scorched in the sun, winning some titles. Right, what's coming up there, mate? I mean, I'm really, really interested in the Queensland Premier League this time. Yeah, I'm really interested in it. I think they've got their promotion right. It's maybe because I'm just deliberately paying more attention to it, but every day you're getting posts from the clubs saying like who their marquees are, who they're looking forward to playing, who's an underrated player, who's an underrated player to watch out for from their club.
Yep,
I think it's absolutely brilliant. So, like, there's, for instance, Broadbeach, absolute powerhouse club, Aaron Tees and David Axon as marquees. It's an interesting one. Anyway, but they've well, it's probably a bad example. They haven't signaled any underrated players out because they reckon their squad's pretty deep.
Yeah.
So they do. But then just asking things about rivalries and who's the greatest of all time from Queensland Premier League. It's good to watch all that. Then you've got the dates of the game. So it's kicking off on the 1st of February with Burleigh against Windsor. That's the live stream game. So, man, yeah, really, really excited about that one. There's the likes of
this weekend.
There's the likes of Pine Rivers as well. We've got Jeremy, who's moved up to Kawana. He's going down on Marqueen with Mark Armstrong and Robbie Wilde. They're telling you to keep an eye out for Justin Knight, Brendan Wilson, and Jesse Turnbull. Like players we might not hear of all the time. There's Helmsville, everyone and Burleigh. I mean, I'm really looking forward to actually paying attention to this one when it kicks off, doing a bit of reporting on it and maybe watching some of the live streams because they've got some big names up there. Obviously, Gary and Corey are going to Tweed Head again. Corey's got a long association there through BPL. Gary, I think, went to Tweed last year. He's won the event before with Burleigh. So, no, it's really good to see. They're promoting it really, really well, mate. So, yeah, have you seen much of it yourself, or what are you thinking? Or
Nah, but I do always see Queensland live stream and stuff. It's always on Facebook live stream, and you see it all the time. There's always something to watch, and especially when the Premier League kicks off. I'm sure there will be live stream games all weekend, from morning till night, and that's one thing that I think they do well. They just pump the content out there. So you want to watch bowls all day long, you can.
Just about to say, like, I'm no Facebook expert or social media expert, but whoever's doing theirs is doing pretty well. Like, they're on there promoting their own stuff each day and getting people interested, but they're sharing from all around the clubs. Like, I'm just flicking through the page as we talk now. There's Tweed Heads' team that plays February 1 against Capalaba. There's Burley Heads' team. They've got Manny Peterson coming up from St John's as a marquee for them. It looks like Harry Goodwin from England playing in their team as well. And then you've got other young ones like Indy Conlon and stuff. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Dylan Fisher as well, coming up to play for Capalaba. There's Beau Prideaux playing for Western Outlaws. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to pay a bit more attention to this one this year and actually see what's going on.
Good stuff.
Maybe that's just because I'm interested too, because I wanted to move up there, but we'll see how we go. But no, man, I think they're doing a great job, and they've launched a new website and everything. Just while I'm raving about it, we've got no contact with anyone up there. We have not been put up to this.
No,
this is just me speaking off the cuff and going. I'm pretty interested to see how it goes. Especially now that I'm past it and can't make those teams, it'll be interesting to see how the young ones all do it now.
Well, hopefully you can keep the listeners informed, DJ, over the coming podcasts of whenever that kicks off this weekend, by the sounds of it, that you can keep us updated with some of the scores results.
It'll be good. Good to talk about that one and then lead into Platinum Pennant, compare the two and see what we think is actually the better competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the last 12 months, we've been biased because it's New South Wales and we're born and bred New South Welshmen, man.
Absolutely.
As everyone knows. But, it'll be interesting to see, mate. That's pretty much around the greens for this week then, mate. So you've got a couple of other just little topics you want to throw around there at the end to discuss. So what have you got up, mate? What have you heard from the listeners? And, what interesting topics have you got to talk about before we wrap it up?
Well, there's one topic from the weekend that was kind of talked about with a few different players, and I thought it'd be interesting to get your thoughts. You have maybe a bit more on the process and what's involved in terms of this topic. Bans and suspensions, DJ, at club level and state level.
Those
I wanted to pick your brain a little bit and see what happens if somebody does do something on the green that's outside of the sort of player code of conduct or what we expect of our bowlers on the green. What's kind of the process? Who gets involved? Is it solely a club thing, or how does it then go to a state level? Is it the severity, or is it just a club pushing it that way towards state level? What's the process?
Well, luckily we haven't. There's not too many big ones of late that I know of, but I know back in the day, like I used to get an email or a letter in the office, and it would say such and such in your area, or such and such that may travel to your area is actually banned for playing bowls for whatever reason, and they're not to play. I don't believe that happens anymore, which I find quite interesting, which means that if you do actually receive a ban or a ban's handed out, your Bowls New South Wales are relying on that player to be honest and not go and play it, because if you don't know about it, how can you really call them out on it?
Yeah.
So I've heard of one recently, and that's down to apparently privacy policy or whatever they got there, but I just don't understand how you can be banned from a premises, or banned from playing a sport, but then not actually people not be informed of it. Like I know for a club instance, someone gets booted out for punching on in the club. Like we have a local liquor accord and it's banned for one, banned for all. So you share that information around. Photograph did this. Pubs and clubs. They're not to go in, and they get a period for 6 months or whatever. But speaking from a little bit of experience, and not because I was the banned one, but because I've been involved in these
administrator
things.
Wise,
But it all comes down to an on the green altercation. If you have an altercation in the clubhouse between two bowlers, but it's not bowls related, the club will deal with it, and the club will issue some sort of a punishment, whether that's a ban for a period of time or whether it's disciplinary, whatever it is. When it comes to an on the green incident, though, that is where Bowls New South Wales and potentially Bowls Australia do get involved there, and it's up to the clubs. From my experience, it's up to the clubs to inform them of what's happened. So we'll take a scenario of two social bowlers get into a verbal altercation on the green, not necessarily anything physical, but one's maybe threatened by someone else.
Yeah,
the club will obviously deal with that, and this doesn't have to be between just two members of the same club. This can be someone from another club who's come into your club, or your club acting towards another club. It's just two people on the green have had an altercation. It's got pretty serious, and they need to be dealt with in some way. So say the board then meet, they have a disciplinary, they go through their usual processes, whatever that is, people front the board, blah, blah, blah. They will issue that punishment, say a 6-month ban.
Yeah.
Right. There's then a form, from what I can gather, on the Bowls New South Wales website, not familiar with what it all says and stuff, because luckily enough, I haven't been needed to fill that in. But you fill that in, send that off to them. They will obviously look at everything on their merits, and then they'll make a decision on what they do. And more often than not, I would imagine if the club's banning somebody for something they've done, Bulls and Side Wheels will back that up. But if it's an on-the-green incident, you run the risk then of not being allowed to play Bulls anywhere. It's not just at that club. If Bulls and Side Wheels or Bulls Australia were to back that up, you're not allowed to play Bulls anywhere. You're not allowed on a bowling green.
For the length of whatever suspension or whatever they think.
Whatever suspension's handed down, But there's other things as well. Like, again, speaking from experience in our area, there was a certain administrator took things into his own hands and did some silly things underhanded because he thought he was the greatest ever and could do what he wanted, and got caught out. And he was given such a ban that he wasn't even allowed to be a pennant manager on a Saturday.
Oh.
Which is like just doing cards and flipping scoreboards. He wasn't allowed to have his name on a list to even be a pennant manager.
Wow.
Yeah, like, so there's different things you can do. You don't hear of it too often because you shouldn't really be saying that, but that is something that can happen. So if you're a violent person like Simon Little, be careful on the greens. Don't do anything silly because you'll end up not being able to play the sport that you love.
It's
you're getting banned from World Bowls Tour after this podcast.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Yeah, I'll never see Potter's Rink ever again. Just thinking about while you're speaking, DJ, in terms of like fronting the board and disciplinary, and obviously being here 12, 13 years now in Australia, that's common knowledge to us in terms of going through that process, that if somebody has a complaint, you put it into the board or whatever it may be, and then there's a disciplinary sort of action or process, and people have to sort of front the board and explain their actions, blah, blah, and then there's a decision after that. That's far cry from where we came from growing up, DJ, in terms of lawn bowls. And some of the things I think back to in Ireland, like I remember seeing two guys literally have to be pulled apart from each other on the green back when I was maybe 16, and nothing was done or said or whatever, because that kind of stuff isn't involved in the game. There's no boards, there's no disciplinary, there's no player code of conduct that you sign. There's nothing like that. And that's something in terms of the smaller nations, or that are smaller than Australia anyway. Like you can imagine from those member nations that we talk about, that World Bowls are trying to get involved in our sport, that'd be something that clubs would have to start from scratch and learn how to do. Like that's something that we learned coming over here that we had no idea of. Yeah,
absolutely. But as you said, it's a lot like, well, I don't know what it's like now. I'm not too sure of the admin at home now. I know some of their Facebook pages don't like me posting, but I don't keep up to date with what the admin side of things is like. But you're 100% right. And even to get away from that, me and Andy tried to use that to our advantage when we first were here in 2008, 2009. It was the first year that the rookies was introduced.
Yeah.
There was no record anywhere of us having represented at international level. As far as they were concerned, we were two new bowlers that just rocked up at Albion Park Bowling Club and put I've been registered with Bulls and Side Wheels ready to play. So me and Andy said to Mick Dupre, Mr. Honest Man, he says, "Oh, we might have a crack at that." Like, you can't have a crack at that. You've been playing for this long. I said, "There's no record of that, Mick. You find a record of that?" And he just looked at us square in the eye and went, "You ain't playing."
Good on
there's no process like that. Look, I've heard of people being kicked out of clubs and stuff, but that's more often than not, that's not a committee or an official committee. No, it's correct, a case of you're getting dragged outside, don't come back.
Yeah.
Or this will happen. But luckily there's better processes out here and that type of stuff doesn't happen, and we don't hear of it too often, mate.
No, we don't.
We don't hear of it too often. I know there's a higher profile one out there at the minute, but unless they were to come forward and say I'm banned, like nobody actually knows that. I know because I've been told about it. So it's an interesting one, that one. I'd like to see a bit more about that one, but yeah, look, it's not something you want to see or dwell on too much, I suppose. But there is a process out there because, like I said, if you're banned on the green if you're banned for doing something on the green, then you shouldn't really be playing the sport either.
Yep,
it's going to come to that, I mean, you've definitely had a bee in your bonnet this week, haven't you? And I think this next one is what sort of started it. I believe you were having a conversation with a friend in work who's not a lawn bowler, but pointed out a certain TV commercial for, was it joint pain medication or something like that?
Yeah, so...
And the sport of bowls was highlighted in that joint pain medication, but it wasn't anyone my age or your age playing it, was it?
No, so, yeah, my work colleague, who's not a bowler, similar age to ourselves, and we're chatting, and he said, last night I seen a TV commercial, and I thought exactly of you. And I was like, okay. He goes, it was a lawn bowl. It was a guy playing lawn bowls, an older gentleman of the elderly age group playing lawn bowls, and he said the commercial was for joint pain or some sort of arthritis pain that's on TV at the moment. And he said, I thought exactly of you, and had a chuckle. And I just thought, we had a bit of a laugh about it, but I thought that is something that does not help our sport. That lawn bowlers get stereotyped as being old and frail or in the 80 plus demographic. Like, it doesn't help our sport one bit. And I thought about it after he said it to me, and I thought it's something that maybe we should bring up on the podcast, that how do you combat that kind of thing? Like, we clearly have no control over what companies use. If that's their target audience and it's older people, they're gonna gravitate towards lawn bowls because that's a stereotype. And how do we break that? How do we stop that? You know, remember back in the day, wasn't it? I'm gonna love this. Was it the World Indoor was sponsored by funeral homes?
Yeah, a lot of tournaments still are. Anytime I get someone wanting to come and sponsor a tournament, it's a care home or a funeral home. It really is.
Yeah.
Current sponsors Ambassador, I believe, which is cruise lines, which realistically, like, to me growing up, cruises were for the older generations as well, so it's not really helping. But anyway, no, I know where you're coming from, man, and it's always been out there. Like, there's even the Right at Home advert has got people like in care homes and stuff that are on walking sticks playing bowls, and it's just, it is the way it is. I mean, there's ways to try and shake it. Funny enough, when we spoke to Aaron, he even said that himself. Like, there wasn't enough jumping on the back of their success, and if people would jump on the back of the success of the Australian Jackaroos, like, it was very, very well publicised within the bowls community that at one point the Australian Jackaroo squad was younger than the Australian cricket team. And in fact, I'd say that's still pretty darn close to being true, because I remember watching the Boxing Day test when young Sam Constance made his debut, 19-year-old, right? In that whole 11, there was not anybody in the 20s age bracket. Sam was 19, and the rest of the boys were 30 or above.
Well, definitely then our bowls...
I'd say the bowls are younger than that. Now, there's a few in there still have been around the Jackaroo setup for the best part of 7 or 8 years, so they'd be pushing that or whatever. But
yeah,
I mean, the likes of TZ and Corey might have just got there, to use them two as an example. I know Carl's sort of around about your age. He's not quite as young as me. He's around about your age, I think. You know, but even still, like, it's not that 16, 17-year-old demographic. But we got to jump on that more. We got to use that. That's the faces we need to be using. And why is it not the responsibility of the governing bodies to see these things out there and then contact the people involved and go, listen, our sport's actually about this, or contact some other bodies and go, look, our sport's got quite a young demographic. How about you throw this in there?
Yeah,
get the barefoot stuff out, get all that there. How social the game can be for young ones.
Yeah,
and push it that way, I suppose. But yeah, it was interesting to see. I mean, honestly, when you said to me, I'm absolutely fuming, DJ. One of the guys from work has come in, he's seen this advert and thought of me straight away. I honestly thought it was going to be Ashley and Martin hair transplant. So you shocked me a bit. That was medication. Sorry, man. It was medication about about arthritis or whatever. But yeah, it is still a hard one to shake, but perseverance, I suppose. And it's been a long time persevering, but maybe hopefully a podcast can help that, mate, if they realize
that kind of stuff changes and changes soon, because it doesn't help us.
No, it doesn't. And we gotta appeal to the younger generation, mate, by changing the formats of the games, playing the games at different times.
Yeah,
love pennants to bits. That's our prime, but we have to have something around that allows the people short, sharp, fast formats so they can get into the game that way. If they want to go on to play pennants, they go on to play pennants, but we got to get them into the game by playing this, because there's just too much going on nowadays in people's lives that they don't want to give up the time for it.
Yeah,
like I think there's definitely a big change in the family dynamic as well now.
Yeah,
you know, which adds to all that. So it's
Well, just while you touched on that, DJ, in terms of time frames and short and sharp, this weekend just passed, played in a quad series for Platinum Pennant teams, played together at Engadine Bowling Club. And I was left the house at 8:30 in the morning, and I got back home at 5:30 at night. I was away all day.
And that's not even staying for... I wouldn't even be staying for socialising after the game.
No socialising. We left straight after everyone left. And, that's the kind of stuff that I think needs to change in our game. Like, we were there playing 3 games, and we played 15 ends in the first 2 games, and I think we cut it short a few ends as well in the last game. So that was a trial kind of hit out for 4 teams, but it was all day. So, guys that have to work or have other commitments, it's a toss-up. Yeah, they do play bowls, you don't play bowls. There's no in-between kind of thing. So I thought it was a long day, but yeah, I think that kind of stuff, I think that's the sort of thing we have to try and move away from.
Any game where you drop a 7 always feels like a long day, Simon.
Yeah,
we want to talk about that. We're past on the green, aren't we? We'll just leave that there. So, okay, moving on from that one then, mate. And I'm going to skip ahead again of your little rotation here. But did you see the photograph from our friend Aaron Sheriff during the week for his World Number 1 trophy?
How good is that, hey?
Mate, it'd nearly make you want to try and play the game professionally, wouldn't it? That was some trophy.
Want to get one of those. It's an unbelievable trophy, yeah. If anyone hasn't seen it, jump on
steal one or buy one yourself, Simon. You ain't getting that.
Jump onto Aaron Sheriff's Facebook page and have a look. It's up there. As he took a photo of it and put it on there, so it looks unreal. Well done.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think you need to think about TBA bringing in some how to set goals properly, because I can remember growing up when you're setting goals, you got to be attainable. You can't just say I'm going to win that trophy with Art Sheriff's one. You got a bit of a way to go, mate. But Simon, we're going to finish off with a good one, mate. The old social media. We absolutely love it. You threw a question out there this week. Should the shot clock be brought in for bowls?
Yeah.
Now, to me, that was a yes or no answer. We didn't get a yes or no from anyone, did we?
No, we certainly haven't got yes or no answers. Look, I thought something BPL's coming up. We're always talking about short formats, things like that. I thought let's just put that question out there. Should we have a standardized sort of shot clock or a set time for every delivery? We always talk, we're banging on all the time about shortening the game quicker, and other people are as well, including Neil Dalrymple of World Bowls. He's talking about shorter formats. It's going to be in the Commonwealth Games. We're going to have shorter formats. Do we need to get away from guys standing over heads for 5 minutes discussing what shot they're going to play, to turn around and walk down the other end of the green and throw it nowhere? Just wasting a whole load of minutes that we can shorten our game by. Like, I think it's something that we should be looking at, that not just at the international level or the televised and production events that are happening like UBC and whatever. I think that's something we should be looking at bringing across as a standard across our whole game to sort of get everything in line together. Like, if you were somebody that just landed on Earth and never seen long bowls before, you're looking at TV and seeing, oh yeah, look at this format, short, quick, shot clocks. Then you go down to your local club and these guys are playing for 4 hours on a Saturday, and you're just going, what is this? Is this a totally different game? So I think we should be looking at time limits on deliveries. How you police that? That's a question.
I know, that's the thing. Like, people jumped on that straight away. Catch a grip. Yeah. Do you think it's a good idea? Yes or no? Let's worry about the logistics after that.
There's a few lengthy comments in terms of logistics and who would police it. And
I had to stop reading. I had to go with Scott Thorogood. That was as far as I go. He had some long-winded response, and I just said, "Also, know them. Like, just say no." But anyway, mate, there is some merit in that. Okay, again, leading back to what we said there about appealing to the younger generations and having the shortened game. I can't remember Dave's exact calculations, but when I was deemed fit for purpose and was on the Bowls New South Wales State Maths Committee, Dave Ellis was on there as head of sport at the time. And he had a fair point, mate, right? So I might embarrass myself and get this calculation wrong here. So you help me. You're the mathematics brain here. Right, if we say, the average green in Australia, right? You want to go 15 seconds.
Yeah.
right?
Okay, average.
So 15 seconds for a ball to start and finish, right? This is just the delivery. Release of the ball, finish the ball, right?
Yeah.
So there's say 16 balls on end then.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, 21 ends in a pennant game.
Yeah.
Right? So that's in seconds. Divide that by 60 to give you minutes. 84 minutes that a ball is actually being delivered, but we're playing for 4 hours, mate.
So 84 minutes, the ball is actually traveling from start to finish.
Yep. So on an average 15-second green. Now, some of the greens are slower than that too.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a ball in motion for 84 minutes of the game. But we could be playing for anywhere from 3 hours in the 21 end games a quick game.
Yeah.
So it is, right? So
there is merit.
There's merit in that.
Yeah,
what are we doing the rest of the time? Now, there's a bit of walking involved, obviously, but what are we doing? I'm not the quickest player in the world by any means. I cop it all the time, but by all means, there's definitely some merit in that. Look how you police it. Who cares? We're just asking a question. Do you think it would be worthwhile? Definitely for some events, and it's shown to work for the BPL. The only thing that they need to change, all right, is the same as what the TGL are doing. Have you seen their shot clock?
Okay,
as soon as you get down to 15, as soon as you get to 15 seconds, you get the heartbeat going the whole way through the stadium, and it gets faster. The short. Oh man, that's brilliant. I'd love to see. Well, you couldn't even say Aaron Wilson. Aaron Wilson's not on the mat long enough for the to be worried about short clock. But someone that takes a bit longer, and they walk back to the mat, and suddenly that heartbeat starts. I think that'd be gold. Oh man, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. So I'd love to see how we bring that in, mate. You're the brains of the operation. How are we going to bring in delivering a ball into, through all those sensor targets where it tells you the trajectory and everything, into a screen that tells you where's it going to land?
Isn't that something, DJ, that Neil Dalrymple was talking about, that we need to take from other sports? And he talked about golf.
Got to take technology.
Technology and trajectory stuff and speed of the ball and things like that. That's the kind of stuff, and that's moving towards, like, as we, I mentioned earlier, the new Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy Golf League.
Yeah.
And things like that, we need to be thinking outside the box and not just go, well, we've done it for the last how many years, let's just keep it the same. That's clearly not helping our sport, because we're not on the increase and we're not bringing new people into our sport in enough numbers. So we need to look at other stuff. And just reading through some of the comments, DJ, there was somebody like, maybe we look at the rules, i.e. waiting till the ball stops before the next player can stand on the mat, maybe something like that. As soon as you release the ball, you're off the mat and the next player's on there ready to go. As soon as the ball rests, deliver your next one. But I guess that could be implemented by a shot clock. It's as soon as the ball stops, you've got 30 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever it is. Maybe we can reduce that 4-hour game down closer to the 84 minutes that the ball actually travels.
Yeah.
If you're playing a fours game.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I know where you're coming from, and it would be very hard to police for just a regular pennants, because you get 7 grades playing all the time. Like, who's going to keep an eye on that? But by all means, too, like, the rule is there to combat slow play. You just got to use it. If you think someone's deliberately playing slow, you can go to an umpire, and the umpire can deem it. Are they playing slow? Are they doing it deliberately as gamesmanship? And then they can warn them and say, move it along, or you're gonna get punished for it. Will there be a forfeit of a game, losing an end by 8 shots, something like that? So you can do it, but yeah, the world of social media just gets me at times, man. Like,
there's been some heavy comments, DJ, and a lot of comments so far. I only posted it 24 hours ago, and yeah, we're well up over probably 150 comments, I reckon. So it grows. People definitely love to have a say, and rightly so. Everyone can have a say on what they think is sort of best for our sport, but I don't know, is it sometimes what's best for you, me, and my friend is not necessarily the best for our sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, I think that'll do us for this episode. I don't want to give you a heart attack or anything. You're getting pretty wound up by some of those topics, which I haven't seen on air. Definitely, usually keep it for off air, but yeah, it's good to see the actual general public get to see what Simon's actually like when he gets wound up. So that was a good episode, mate. I enjoyed that one, but I think probably best to just finish it up there. I mean, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
A couple of things to talk about: Queensland Premier League, Tasman. Simon says, tune into the Bulls New Zealand. It just rolls off the tongue. Bulls New South Wales, Bulls New Zealand. Facebook page for their live streaming and things they got there, and yeah, they do a pretty good job. Of some of the events over there that I've seen too, so it should be a good one to see the best of the best playing against each other. Might learn a thing or two, but as always, folks, we are ramping up into the pennant season, so enjoy yourselves and keep that little disc on the inside.
Absolutely, and good luck on those greens.
We'll see you next time on What a Load of Bowls.